Welcome guys. Now we'll be studying about Unit 2. We have already gone through Unit 1. What are the important topics in Unit 1? In Unit 2, this is the syllabus. It is broadly divided into leadership, the strategic planning, quality council, employee involvement, motivation, empowerment, team and teamwork, quality circle, recognition, reward, perform a continuous process improvement, PDCA, 5 years Kaizen, supply partnership. So in this unit, these three are the important questions, 16-mark questions. So they can even ask for leadership. What are the qualities of a good leader? What do you mean by strategic plan? And then what is who is the quality council? What are the steps of this we have discussed in Unit 1 itself. Who is a quality council and what are the roles? Like they'll be involved in creating the quality statements. What are the three quality statements? Mission, vision and quality policy. So what is who is the leader? What are the qualities? To begin with this unit, we'll go through what are the important topics in this unit, and later meanwhile we discuss all the important topics. We'll be also covering the important 16-mark question. So to begin with leadership, what are the qualities of the good leader? And these are the 7 habits. This you have to by heart. These are the 7 habits of highly effective people. So if they're going to ask for leadership, this is important. And then what is strategic planning? What are the steps for the strategic planning? What is a plan? You're going to plan something for your future. What is the steps involved in creating a strategic plan? So the needs of the customer you need to understand, then place the customer accordingly, predict the future, do the gap analysis, which means what is the current what is the current state and what is the plan for the future. The difference between the plan for the future and the current state is nothing but your gap analysis. After you identify the gap, you are in a position to close the gap, which means the steps that you should take to close the gap, and then alignment and implementation. This we have discussed in your first unit slide itself. Now comes the motivation topic. See, this motivation topic has got two main theories, Maslow's theory and Herzberg's two-factor theory. Maslow's theory is nothing but the hierarchy of needs. So there are 5 levels of needs. Once the needs in a particular level fails or stops to be a factor of motivation, once the needs are met, it will fail to be a factor of motivation. For example, if our basic need is for food and we are able to get that food, then that food will never be our motivation, which means if the needs are met, that need will never be a motivation. So the next level of need will become a motivation. For example, it is a basic desire of a human being who has got a cycle will be desiring for a bike, and who has got a bike will be desiring for a car. Until you have a bike, you will be thinking like bike is a motivation for you. So once the basic levels, so the basic levels are nothing but the levels of survival, and then that level is made, then that survival level will never be a motivation. Then comes your security. So these are the 5 levels, and then the needs are being classified into physiological needs, your safety needs, needs of love, affection and belongingness, needs for esteem and needs for self-actualization. So Maslow's theory says that every level has got the needs, and once the needs are satisfied, they fail to be the motivation factor. That's all. So then motivation, what is the second theory? Herzberg's two-factor theory. So Herzberg's two-factor theory states there are only 2 things. One are called motivators and the other one are called the satisfiers. So motivators are nothing but your increments, your promotions, your role change, etc. in your workplace. So once you have all those things, you will definitely be motivated. So this theory talks about that. So if they are going to ask for motivation, you need to write Maslow's and Herzberg's two-factor theory. And for that, how do you get a motivated task force, workforce? How do you motivate people and how do you get that? So these are the steps, okay? And what is empowerment? You are adding more strength. What is empowerment? You are going to increase the potential of your worker so that the worker will be able to perform well, that is empowerment. So what are the conditions for empowerment? And then comes the most important topic of this unit, continuous process improvement. So what is a process? What are the inputs to the process? What are the outputs of the process? How do you improve the process? How do you improve it? You reduce the error, you reduce the resource consumption, you meet the expectation of the customer, you make the process more safer, and then ultimately the person who is doing the process must be happy about it, must be satisfied about it. So these are the ways to improve the process. For this process improvement, there are three main, like what input, the process, the output, etc. So there are three ways to improve the process, like it is already stated by Juran in your unit 1, Juran trilogy, planning. What are they? There are three main components suggested by Juran that you need to explain. Refer to unit 1 material, and then we have this something called as Schwartz plan, do, study, act, and it is refined by Deming as plan, do, check and act, and then Kaizen. So these three ways can be used to improve the process. During trilogy we have already studied. Now we will study about plan, do, study, act. So this PDSA has got 7 steps or 7 phases. You need to study all the 7 phases. This is illustrated more in this diagram. Phase 1, identify the opportunity. Phase 2, analyze. Phase 3, develop. Phase 4, implement. Study the results. 7 and 8. So if you are going to explain PDSA, you need to explain all these things. And this has been modified by Deming as PDC as plan, do, check and act. You need to write and explain this also. And then comes our Kaizen. We'll study this Kaizen first, and then we'll go for that customer supplier partnership. That is again the important topic in unit 2 that is covered in your syllabus. So before we go, we'll go into Kaizen. To understand Kaizen, we need to understand 5 years. What is this 5 years? 5 years in the sense, all these 5 years are 5 words that are beginning with S. These are Japanese words. Seiko, Seitan, Seiso, Seketsu and Shitsuke. All these 5 are Japanese words, and you need to explain all these 5 words in the way that is mentioned here. You shouldn't write like set, sort, shine, standard, sustain. You need to write all these 5 Japanese words and then explain. So what is the purpose of 5 years? See, we are going for this process improvement, which means that only if the place that you work, your organization, the physical place that you work is safer or is able to provide all the needs for you to work in that place. So this is called 5 years. So this is for a clean workplace. So what is Seiko? It is arranging your workplace. Okay, keeping the things where it should be and discarding the things where it shouldn't be. So that is the first one. That is Seiko. Then the second one is Satan, which means keeping the things in order. Then shine, which means cleanliness. Then comes your standardize. Then it says Shitsuke, which means sustain or self-discipline. You can study all these 5 years points here. These 5 years points are being used in Kaizen. Kaizen is again a Japanese word. So what does Kaizen mean? It is like every small improvement that you do on a daily basis is Kaizen. A very small improvement. That small improvement doesn't need to be very costly. It can be a less expense improvement, Kaizen. So every small increments will definitely improve your process. So this Kaizen focuses on what? These are 10 main points we need to study. That focuses on your value and non-value added activities. Muda. What is Muda? It is nothing but removal of waste. There are 7 classes of waste like this. Elimination of waste in the sense it is improving your process. And then principle of the way you use, the way you handle your materials, the way you document your SOPs, standard operating procedures, the 5 years. See here, this 5 years comes here in Kaizen. And then Pokayok. What is Pokayok? You are going to remove or prevent the error. Then comes team dynamics, which means the more should be, the communication between the team must be more. Only then the things will get working smoother and faster. So Kaizen and 5 years you need to study. And the last topic in this unit is customer supplier relationship. Who is a supplier for us? The way, like, we will be always concentrating on our customer, because we'll be very much curious to understand the voice of the customer, the requirements of the customer, in order to delight our customer, in order to provide a good customer satisfaction. In that process of customer satisfaction, we must make sure that we are not ignoring our suppliers. Every year we are not there must be a good customer supplier relationship, which means, who is a supplier? One who provides raw materials for our product or our service. So we should have a good relationship with the supplier. Like every month we should not change our supplier. We should choose a good supplier. Like if someone is providing a very cheap product, we should not go for that. We should go for a quality supplier. So like when we choose this supplier, what are the questions that we should think before we choose that supplier? So how do you choose a supplier? That comes under your partnering. Partnering, what does it mean by partnering? In order to improve our business, in order to have a good knowledge sharing, one will be an expert in one area, the other person will be expertise in another area. So if they two combine, definitely it will be a profit to a business, or growth to a business. So that is your partnering. Partnering and supplier partnership is important. So again, an important topic to be studied. So as of now, we'll have a quick recap of the topics in Unit 2, and I hope I have covered all the important topics from Unit 2. At least try to concentrate on these three main important 16-mark questions. Thank you.